Everybody, to Coach Mallory's Week 2 press conference. Indiana State coming off a loss to Eastern Illinois 22-20. We'll be preparing for the Tennessee Volunteers this weekend. Coach, we'll start just with an opening statement.
You know, I was pleased with the way our football team prepared for this game. I thought we were prepared. I thought we competed, stuck together, take some positives from the game. We had 3 penalties for 12 yards. I thought Lamont Booker ran the ball extremely well with 165 yards with some good blocking up front. I thought defensively, flew around, did some good things. You take away the second drive of the game, and then obviously we got to learn how to finish. Last 2 minutes of the game, we got to come up and win the football game. But overall, happy with the way the team prepared, and we got to build on it and prepare the same way week in and week out.
What was it about your team's preparation last week, Coach, that you really thought they were able to dot their I's and cross their T's?
You know, I felt they were focused all week. I thought we had a good 2 weeks of practice that we put in for Eastern Illinois, and I thought they came out and really worked at it. Worked at getting better, and you could just see them playing faster, playing with more confidence, and really knew what they were doing. And even the comments after the game that they felt that they were really prepared. And obviously, as a staff and as a football team, we gotta finish.
Well, you brought up how now you at least have game film against somebody else now. How much more did you really find out about your guys that they were able to finally go up and hit somebody else besides just going up against each other in practice?
Well, it's good to get into the season. Obviously, we want to get one underneath our belt, but we're going to build off it. There's a lot of positives. We're more encouraged than we are discouraged. We feel like we've got an opportunity to be a really good football team, and we came out shortly after on a Friday morning. Got the film graded. Saturday came out and got a practice in, and then Monday I thought we really had a productive day.
You mentioned the defense. Until that last drive for Eastern Illinois, they held them to 36 yards in the second half. I know a big part of that was because of the surge they got up front in your front seven, and we've talked about your front seven so much throughout fall camp and leading into the Eastern Illinois game. What was the reason for that success there in the second half? And to give your team, it seemed like time and time again when they needed a stop to stay in the game, your defense was able to deliver.
Well, you know, I think they when you have confidence, you can play fast, and our defensive staff's done a great job of putting in a system that they can play fast. Not a lot of thinking, a lot more reaction, and it showed. It showed that they were playing with confidence. Looked like they were having fun. I liked the way they affected the quarterback. We sacked the quarterback 5 times. Had opportunities to put some hits on him too, and but again, just liked the way as a team that they prepared offensively and defensively. We can still be a lot better, as we all know, and we're going to continue to do that.
I know after the game, I kind of joked with you, a sight for sore eyes, seeing what Lamont was able to do in the game. But, of course, it takes more than just Lamont to be able to have success. It was the offensive line. It was also your wide receivers having to learn more in blocking schemes. When you really took the grand scope of things, of course, Lamont got the main focus. But how did you feel really the rest of the guys did and being able to open up those running lanes, and why you had so much success running the football last week?
Well, I think Matt Byrne really stepped up. I was really pleased with the way Matt came out. Really blocked hard, really blocked well. He's a leader of the offensive line, and I thought he came out and played especially well. Jaquette, I thought Jaquette really did some good things. We feel like we've got a weapon there. Whether he's blocking or whether he's catching the football, we're going to do some things to get him more involved. And he's a darn fine football player. Obviously, we talked about Lamont, and then you know, the blocking in our perimeter. I thought we were aggressive and did some good things blocking the perimeter with Bob and Curtis Lee.
Of course, you went with Cade Sparks at the end of the first half and into the second half against Eastern Illinois. As you and the staff work through this week, how do you really treat that quarterback spot and what you are working with Cade and Isaac as you lead into Tennessee?
We feel like we've got 2 capable quarterbacks, and we're going to need them both. They both are tremendous young men that help one another. You know, we pulled took Isaac out of the game, and you would have Isaac's right there. I mean, that's why he's a leader of our team. He's coaching them on the sidelines. He's into the game because he knows he's just a play away from going right back in. And that's gonna that's gonna be how it is at times. One time a guy needs a break, needs a breather, and we have to make a move like we did. We expect the other guy to help the other one, and that's what you saw Thursday night with those two.
You've said it time and time again about this quarterback, about the quarterback room, that's the most unselfish group you've ever been a part of. Knowing that you saw Isaac, how he responded to Cade going into the game, what does that do to almost reassure you of that is what you thought, that is one of the most unselfish groups that you've really been a part of?
I mean, it goes along with Aaron Young. Aaron Young is right there. He's like having a coach on the field. And you have a guy like Aaron who's going to go into a game sometime and win us a football game. I'm sure of it. And then you got Zach Irving, who, Zach Irving. That's Zach Larkin. Zach Irving. That
was a tight end now, Coach.
Yeah, that was Zach Larkin. Sorry, that was from the past. Zach Larkin. But you got Zach Larkin, who obviously we all know when he had an opportunity to help us in another position, he came to us and has moved to wideout, and we really feel like we found him a home.
Let's look towards Tennessee. Of course, last night they had such a doozy of a ball game going the double overtime against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's such an odd opponent when you play them because of the triple option. You saw that they were obviously to have so much success running the football. Because there's such a different style, how much can Coach Hicklinski look at their defense? Because I know they moved a lot of guys different around, playing in different spots. Another nickelback moved the corner at the game last night just because of the different style that Georgia Tech showed. How much were you still able to learn from their defense to know maybe how you can attack them this weekend in Knoxville?
Well, that style of offense is going to pose you problems. When I was at the University of Michigan, or I was at University of Wyoming, we played Air Force. And I know when those offenses can get going, boy, it can be for a long night. And they have a great system in place, Georgia Tech. Coach Johnson does a great job with running the football. And, they got rolling a little bit, and the running game with what they do.
It seemed like one of the biggest point of emphasis that Coach Jones has made with his group this year is in the past he doesn't feel that they've had championship depth. He feels that is different this year. We saw that last night. There were some key pieces that had to lead the game, but they were able to make a rally. When you watch them on film last night and you see them, how much of that championship depth do you see that this program has?
Well, I see a belief in their football team. You see it. You saw it last year when I saw them play. When you see them on film, how they finish. And that's really where you see that program and the way Butch wants that program to be going. They win. They win at the end. They won. They beat Georgia at the end of the game last year. They obviously came from behind against Georgia Tech. And they're a team that sticks together, plays hard, well coached. And, when you make that move to that next level, it's how you finish. And you see that from Tennessee.
When we went on your media tours in Indianapolis and elsewhere, you were asked about this game, but what you were asked about this game was, hey, it's going to be a great experience for your guys. And a lot of probably people this week are talking to your guys and saying, man, that's going to be a fun environment for you. Not necessarily pointing to that you guys are playing a football game. And a lot of that's going to be because of course, Tennessee being the favorite. How do you work with your team this week, knowing that there's not going to be a lot of people that are going to believe that you can go down to Knoxville and win that game, but you guys, it doesn't matter who you play, whoever you're lined up against on a Saturday or last week on a Thursday, you believe you're going to go down there because you got a job to do, and that's to win a football game.
You hear the old cliche, the teams that make the most improvement from week 1 to week 2. And that's our main focus right now, is that we make that big improvement from the Eastern Illinois game to the Tennessee game. And it's about us. It's about Sycamores. It's about getting better at what we're doing and improving. And that's the approach we're taking this week, and that's the approach that our players came out yesterday with.
It was a question I asked you at practice yesterday too. I know it almost makes you look like you are a smart guy, but maybe a little bit smarter. You practice so many in-game situations, 2-minute, whether you need a goal line stand, not just your game went down to the wire, but Tennessee's game down to the wire. Have you seen just a response from your guys of, I think they've always bought in and they understand what you're doing in a practice, and you've only had one practice and you haven't had a practice yet since last night, but to see them that it's starting to come full circle of why maybe you harp on those little things all the time and why you structure so many in-game situations and odd situations during your practice.
Well, as a staff, I hired guys that are veteran coaches and we share a lot of ideas. We've worked together before, and, we want to put them in situations. We also want to be able to play 11 on 11 as much as possible and put them in real football situations. And we'll come up with scenarios every day in 2 minutes because sometimes you can't draw it up. It just happens. And but the kids are in tune to it. When you come out there, they want to know exactly how many timeouts, what the scenario is, and they've bought into that. And it's improved, and it's going to show.
And I don't know if this is necessarily really a fair question to ask right now, but from your staff, when you guys met and you I know you always have your internal expectations of what maybe you'll see week one, but there were also a lot of unanswered questions that you guys had that you knew you were going to find out. Knowing as you head into week two I know you can't really set expectations for yourself. You just kind of go into it and say, okay, we'll see what happens. But where you stand right now, did you think what you saw from your team last week is about what you thought you would see, and where you stand heading into week two?
Well, I knew we were a better football team from spring to two-a-days, just by the speed and watching how much faster we were playing. There wasn't as much thinking. It was more reaction. So I knew we were going to play a lot faster. There's still a lot more out there that we left on the field. Coaches, it'll always start with myself, but players, we've got to be able to capitalize on some opportunities. We got an opportunity to finish. At the end of the game, we got an opportunity to hit some plays offensively, and but we will. We've got a great group of young men that stuck together, believe in each other, and believe in what we're doing.
Any more questions for Coach? All righty, Coach. Thanks for the time.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Zach Larkin. That was a basketball player.